I'm Inger, he's Elmo, and this is Brutally Honest Talk Radio.
Welcome to Brutally Honest Talk Radio, where you will learn about an issue minus the BS. We don't always say what you want to hear, but what you need to hear about the issues of the day. Here's your host, Inger, along with Elmo, with his political insight and commentary.
Tuesday, Elmo.
I'm doing good, Inger. How's it going?
It's going good. It's the end of the week. Yay.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yes, absolutely. And, 1 week down, several more to go to get to the end
Yeah,
of the month.
I love our culture with these breaks every 7 days.
Well, what's on tap for today?
All right, so main things we're going to talk about today. I got some statistics for number of police shootings from 2020. So
Okay.
the year is over, is complete. So looking back, kind of comparing 2020 to 2019. And then also wanted to talk about Cuomo and how things are changing and turning for him, seeming to a different subject in a different direction,
Okay.
and just try to find out what that's all about and why is that happening. I guess we'll start with Cuomo. And people know about the scandal thing that happened in the state of New York with the number of COVID deaths in nursing homes,
Mhm.
with the numbers being falsely reported and turned in. And he's threatened people uh, in the council or in the assembly, people that work with him, and trying to keep a lid on the truth, but it has already come out and started to come out. So in the last week, though, there have been uh, women, mainly one woman, accusing him of inappropriate behavior or sexual harassment. There was a wedding that he attended a few months ago,
Okay.
and someone took a picture of this where he put his hands on her face. I don't know if that's an Italian thing or that's a greeting.
Right.
He's holding her face. She's smiling back at him, looking up at him,
Okay.
and supposedly he said to her, can I touch your face, or can I hold you? Something like that, something that he said.
Okay.
So my main thing about that is this is in no way compared to thousands of people dying,
Right.
thousands of lives that could have possibly been saved if he had made different decisions.
Right.
Going from that to someone's accusations about things that happened months ago, and apparently Cuomo didn't do anything to get locked up as a result of this because women didn't call the police.
Mhm.
So can we be clear now? If there's sexual assault or something that somebody did that's a crime, call the police.
Mhm.
Okay. If it's harassment and the kind of thing that may go on in the workplace, then report it.
Mhm.
But there's different levels and different stages of this. Um, so that's one part of it, and then another part of it is is the media focusing on this now. So it's like, how it'd be a TV show, it'd be a drama or something, and it's like, okay, put the camera on this situation, now fade to black. We're cutting to a
Right.
commercial.
Right.
It's like the thing was so horrendous with the extra thousands of people that died from COVID that forgot to be mentioned. You can't cut the commercial on that. You
Right.
can't fade to
Right.
black.
Right.
So let's, pay no attention to the man behind the red curtain, fade to
Yeah.
black.
Yes. It's interesting that, and he even got an Emmy, I think, an international Emmy
Mhm.
for his handling of the COVID crisis. Okay, that's still a hot
Wrote a
mess.
book.
Wrote a book about it. Yes, he's an author. He's a published author as well. So they're not going after the 14,000 people who died. No, that's not important. But this lady was harassed, and like you said, she didn't call the police when it happened, didn't say anything to anybody. Not that I'm doubting her story, because
Yeah.
hashtag believe all women. Not that I'm doubting that. It's just what what they choose to focus on. Now, sexual harassment is bad. I get it. It's not a good thing, but she's still alive. They have folks
And
who have
and
lost their loved.
unpenetrated. I mean,
Yes.
let's be real.
Mhm. Yeah. It's just I don't understand, like you said, in the media, what they choose to focus on. They're just like you said, the fade of black. Okay, that's done, but they're skewering him. He's on the grill. He's being turned over, grilled, and blackened, and everything else because of sexual harassment. When I thought COVID was the big thing. I thought they had the Me Too movement and it got displaced by COVID. So I thought COVID was the big
Yeah.
thing, but apparently in certain circumstances, COVID isn't the big thing. It is harassment. So I don't know where to focus on. It's just, the media. They're all over the place for certain people. You know,
Let me
it's
mention another thing about this is that
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw the picture with him putting his hands on this woman's face.
I did.
Somebody took standing nearby. The profile was that. This was
Hmm.
at a wedding reception.
Hmm.
This is at a
Her
wedding.
wedding, and that's what people do, I guess, at a wedding. And she had to be some kind of friend or something to even be invited, right? You're not
Right,
gonna invite a
right.
stranger to your wedding, you know.
And there's lots of people at wedding receptions.
Yes.
Is
Mhm.
there any person who you can call to witness right now that heard you say, Andrew, back up, stop
Right.
it, take your
Right.
hands off me. I don't like this.
Hmm.
No, all we got is a picture of you smiling.
Like, I don't know what to do with that. I mean,
Yeah. By the way, I mean, yeah. Andrew Cuomo wrote a book about the good job he did handling COVID. I think it's called "How You to Pat Yourself on the Back"
right.
by me.
Right. How to congratulate yourself, how to be proud of yourself for the job that you did. I did. Right. It's
And
bizarre.
Cuomo said that he's not going to resign. He
Okay.
said that as a comment and in response to the accusation of this woman claiming
Okay.
sexual. Well, that's mighty pompous of you.
Right.
Listen, this guy. I'm hoping that what's not going to happen is in the stages of this, he doesn't resign, and then there's some kind of a hearing or something where this comes to head, and that they can't prove that he did anything to resign, but he remains in office. And then he shakes his fist like Martha Stewart when she walked out of prison.
Yeah.
They tried to take me down, but they couldn't defeat me. I'm a winner again,
Again,
you know.
right. Yay me.
But Governor Cuomo, what about COVID? No, 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 wait. We're not talking about that.
We're
We're
not
talking about my victory over here, beating these accusations. When is
exactly.
the next election?
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
telling you, like you start to see this stuff coming in the distance, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm really compared to what we were talking about the thing with the nursing homes, really touching on this lightly because there's so much going on that, for the most part, I'm going to wait till the dust settles
Okay.
because it's a lot of chaos right now. I tell you this though, do you think that Governor Cuomo in New York is the only governor at this time
Okay.
that is having women accusing him of inappropriate behavior? The
Oh
only
no.
government in America.
Right. Where that's it. No. No.
Right, so
And
why
it's
are we
interesting.
why him now?
Right. Why are we yeah, what do it's two questions. What do they not want you to focus on by
Yeah.
mentioning this? And two, what else is going on? I mean, so it's like when they like you said, they're doing all this. What else is he doing that we don't know about that no one's asking questions about? Because now this is the focus.
Yeah.
So what is he doing and what else is going on? So it's that's a good question. It's a very good question. Yeah. And he was the media darling just less than a year ago. So it's interesting. From what I hear, I think it's De Blasio. I think he's pretty much out. I think he comes up for election in November. So I don't know who's running against him and that sort of thing. But from what I hear, he's kind of out, and people don't want him again. Now I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So wait a
And
minute. De Blasio isn't going to do his number on Broadway with the dancers wearing the unitards and the leotards out there trying to bring the arts back. They
no, because
canceled that.
they're socially distanced. You can't, we got to be socially distant. you know.
Let me, since you brought up De Blasio, let me mention
Mhm.
something about this guy. Remember, last year when people were rioting in New York City, he told the police pull back. He
Yep.
said let them do their destruction and their outrage and
Mhm.
their looting and everything. Let them
Did.
get it out of their system.
Listen, he sure did. He sure did.
Let them finish that out, and then we can rebuild the city
Hmm.
back and make it
Yes.
stronger.
Yep.
I can't even propose what the strategy or the thinking is behind that.
Right.
Telling the
Yeah.
police stand down.
While
You
they
know,
destroyed the city, while people destroyed that city, literally.
man.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Um, and I don't know how the residents of New York feel, the ones that are left, because I know a lot of them have moved
Yeah,
out. But how,
right.
how do they feel? I wonder if they have connected all of this and where the city is, where the state is in regards to all of this. Have they connected this with their vote? And that's what it comes down
Yeah,
to. It comes down to their vote. Does it make sense? Do you understand that this is the policy they voted for? I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
There's
Um,
too much cronyism, and the media, different media organizations, they may have tried to help Cuomo out. It's a community where they're already looking out for each other. I mean, I remember when Michael J. Fox first started to come out with the effects of Parkinson's disease,
yeah,
and the community in Hollywood, they were looking out for him. They knew that he couldn't be in movies, so that they were doing whatever they could, letting him do voiceovers and speaking cartoons and different
yeah,
things because they liked him.
hmm
And this is a similar thing
sure.
where they're working together.
They're kind
So
of circling the wagons to protect them. And
yeah,
and in the interest of being brutally honest, if people don't see the double standard in the media and the reporting, they're clearly not paying attention, or
yeah.
they like what they're hearing, and because it confirms whatever they want to think, then they don't question it.
If
So,
people can just if people can just do this, if you could take the stuff that Cuomo did and the stuff that he's accused of and replace the word Cuomo with Trump,
right.
honestly ask yourself
Mhm.
what the media would be saying. Forget people's reactions on the street and
Right.
society. Just what would the media be saying by the same standard? And
Right.
and I know you said double standard. That's the same thing. I'm just trying to,
I know what you're saying.
make it real, create a picture with that
Yes.
because that's not real media. Real media is unbiased and fair,
Mhm.
and you don't have different rules for different people.
Right. Right. They're supposed to be the quote unquote, was it fourth or fifth estate? I think that's
The
their
fifth state,
nickname, the
yeah,
fifth
or
estate,
or the
and they're not talking about the ship that President Trump at the
right.
time sent to them to help cover this. He put those people in the nursing home, even though there was a ship right offshore with people, with resources, with beds, with everything that they need to put those people on that ship so the sick people would stay out of the nursing home. The media saying nothing about that. Even though we know it happened, it was mentioned
Yeah,
last because they talked about it, but there's
right.
nothing about that, you know?
Never mind that it's a good idea. Look who it came
Yeah.
from. You
Right,
know,
right.
who
And
who
that's
sent us help? We don't want help from you.
right.
As the people that were dying, as
Mhm.
the people that were being rolled out into the hallway in ICU, because they
Mhm.
didn't have enough rooms and beds for them. Ask them if it's okay for them, if it would have saved their lives,
Right.
if they had accepted help from Trump.
Mhm.
Oh, we can't ask them now.
Right.
We
Right.
can't ask them
Exactly.
now.
Exactly.
Maybe we can ask their survivors, their relatives.
What they have helped. It's something else. And the way I know, so Governor Abbott, Texas Governor Abbott, is opening up next Wednesday. It's still talking around the COVID. He's opening up everything next Wednesday. And I think Connecticut is opening up everything on March the 19th.
Oh yeah,
So folks are slowly opening up. They're
right.
trying to get back. When is New York going to come back? It was the center of, Wall Street, it was Broadway, it was the theater, it was quote unquote the city that never sleeps. Now it's
Yeah,
the city that'll never wake up again because it's done. So it'll be interesting who they select to
yeah,
follow Cuomo and De Blasio. And I don't think there's a recall. I don't know if it's statute or a recall option in New
mhm,
York, so they can't recall Cuomo. I think they'll have to vote him out or something like that. Whatever they do, but they can't recall him like they're doing in California.
yeah.
Yeah.
We know about restaurants not being supported. It's a funny thing. I heard they did this report, they did this story on restaurant owners across America and how they're struggling, and most of them have been limited to 25%
Right.
capacity, right?
Right.
So they're quickly interviewing different restaurant owners in different parts of the country. They got to this one guy, and he said, "We have been officially diagnosed with cabin fever. It's time to get back."
That's
I'm like,
right.
yeah, yeah, good,
It
good. I'm
is.
glad you said that. You know,
Right.
I mean, not it's not just for us, but people want to get out. They
Yeah,
want to get out and go support. Give people the option and let them decide.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know if there's a movement or anything yet, but once things start opening up more fully, folks are encouraging other people to, instead of going overseas to travel, travel here in the U.S.
Sure.
Support some local businesses, support, our own, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's try to get that done and help
At
bring those
least
businesses
at least
back.
for the next couple of years,
Yes.
because most people have not been to half of the country.
Yeah.
Haven't been to 25 states here.
Right.
So there's a lot of great sites and things to do right here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One thing I want to mention that I noticed, and the people that saw the Super Bowl know that there was a female referee, a female
Oh,
official
okay.
that was out on the field,
Okay.
and it's good. It's good to see that, and it's good to see that because I like people going into things that they want to do.
Hmm.
And I'd seen her before in another game earlier in the season.
Oh,
But
another
here's
pro game?
no, with another
Okay.
NFL game,
Okay.
you know. Um, I mean, she may be the only one, I don't know, but I just, I recognized her.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. When we hear so much about inclusion and putting this person or that person in this part, in this role,
Mhm.
and trying to get transsexuals to come and
Right.
play on women's teams and all
Yeah.
of this. The thing is, this woman is good at her job.
Okay.
That's why
Absolutely.
she was put there. She wanted the position,
Hmm.
and then she does a good job because those players on the team in the game, which this year was Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, thank you. Kansas City
Yeah.
Chiefs. The first year where the Super Bowl was in one of the cities of the teams
Oh, I didn't know
is
that.
kind of
That's
questionable.
that's kind of yeah. All right.
Same team that Brady just happened to be on.
Oh,
So,
what a
but
coincidence.
the players they don't care about that when you're calling them out and throwing that yellow flag and saying we're giving you a 10-yard penalty, take the ball back. You better be right. They're not going to say, "Oh, well, it's a woman that's a
Right.
referee." So,
Right.
it's all, you know what I mean? So, I just want to mention that, and it's good to see that. I want people to do what they love, get promoted based on their skill and their ability.
Exactly, exactly, and that makes sense. Like I said, she's good. She's apparently really good at it,
Mm.
because that wasn't the story. She wasn't the story about the game. It might have been
Right.
just a side note. We have a lady referee, and this is what she's doing, but it wasn't plastered everywhere. People were
Yes,
talking
I'm
about the
glad of that.
game, yeah, and
Right.
Brady and the Chiefs and Mahomes. I think that's the other guys. They were talking
The
about that
quarterback. Yeah.
and
Right.
not about that. So she must have been really good at what she does. And to piggyback on what you were saying, um, putting transgenders in girls' sports, I know there's a lot of energy around folks, around basically men being in girls' sports, and
Mm.
how it's
Right.
going to ruin girls' sports. And
Right.
as a former student athlete, all the way, goodness, from sixth grade all the way through college, that is it's a horrible thing for them to put those men in girls sports. Those, you don't have a chance. These are ladies who would otherwise be eligible for scholarships or for athletic scholarships, for any number of things, but for this being allowed. So, again, what's going to happen to women's sports? At this rate, there will be no more women's sports. And
Serena Williams. I was
mhm.
glad that she made a statement recently
Wow.
saying, if I went up against men and what I do, they would kill me.
Yeah. Hmm.
This is a trophy winner, somebody that
Yeah.
has 90-mile-an-hour serves
Yes,
and is a an incredible athlete.
she
She
is.
she's smart enough to know, okay, even if pound for pound, a person was born a man, just the molecular structure and the
Yeah,
the natural strength that you put them together, it's a totally different game.
it's completely different. It's completely different. We're just men and women are different by design, and for a
Mm.
purpose. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think who's the young lady? I think her name is Osaka. She's a young 15-year-old that also plays tennis, and she's a young lady, and I think she plays with ladies and that sort of thing. But again, we won't have those kinds of things if um, if they continue to let men and women sports. It's
You said
just
that you played sports in school for many
mhm.
years. Did you
Yes,
play basketball?
volleyball.
Okay.
Yeah, I played volleyball.
You know why I asked about basketball?
Uh-oh. Why?
Well, because when you said what your height was,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought you were
yeah,
talking about in general. Yeah. Yeah, I know I always get that question. Did you play basketball? No, I didn't play basketball. They tried to teach me after I got done with volleyball and never happened. It was too
yeah,
late. Yeah. So,
yeah. I didn't
yeah.
either. I mean, I'm not
Hmm.
I'm not very tall, but it just wasn't my favorite sport. My favorite thing
Yeah.
was baseball.
Oh,
So,
cool.
you
Hmm.
gotta like it. But I'm just asking. I don't know if
Yeah.
people know this or heard this from the previous episode where she mentioned this, but Inger is 6 foot 2 inches
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably taller than a lot of the women in the
Hmm.
WNBA. You know.
Maybe so. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But yeah, 6'2" is not common for women, in general. Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, not a common height. There's a lady that played with me and
oh,
she's
not
six
common.
two.
Yes, I
Not
agree.
common.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I was thinking about Buttigieg last week,
Okay.
and thinking about how he got his position. I haven't heard anything about why he was picked other than him being gay.
Right.
So what I was thinking was the first time that it comes up where Buttigieg makes a decision
Mm-hmm.
that he's being criticized for, how much you want to bet he or his administration is going to say you're homophobic?
Right. That's true. That's probably, yeah.
I
Any
mean,
criticism. Mm-hmm.
Pete's got to be thinking, look how well a race card has worked for people. I just played a gay card.
For the kicker, right? People just keep whipping out their cards just to see. But
Yeah,
that
and
you're
shuffling the
right.
deck.
You're right though, because
But
that's what they said about Obama. Oh,
it's
you don't
just a
like it 'cause
matter
he's black. Hmm.
just a matter of time. Either if he doesn't get caught on anything, he's going to follow in the steps of Biden and be a do nothing. What is it, Secretary of Education,
I think it's transportation.
transportation?
Transportation.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Either going to just play the background because Biden said, I want an administration that looks like America. Okay, we put the team together, mission accomplished.
Right. All done.
Check back in with me in 2023. You know,
Right. Right.
they're either
Seriously.
going to do that or, something's gonna come out or come up, and then look, if that's true, it should be dependent on the person who said what they said or made the comment, and then it should be three or four layers down after you explaining why you did what you did and made the decision that you did. Do
Right.
that first.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's really changing the subject if you just cut straight to, no, you're saying that because you don't like gays. What?
Right. It it does. Yep.
Hey, fellas. I said I wanted to be a football player. I didn't say I wanted to get hit on the field. What made you think I wanted to get hit?
Right. Is true. Is true. And it totally nullifies the qualifications
Mm,
statement. I mean, like you said, it's like, no, this isn't personal. It's like I
right,
wouldn't even know this if you hadn't said anything. It's not
right,
personal. It's just
right. It's not, this one thing is different from race or color. You
right
volunteered this information.
information. Right.
You want to bring your boyfriend out now or your husband so we can meet him?
Right. It's like I don't care. It's like do whatever you do. But I want to know your
Boy,
qualifications. That's the thing that happened with Obama. Oh my gosh. It's like,
yeah,
no, I don't like his policy. Well, you don't like him because he's black. Well, no, I just don't like his policies. I'm like,
right.
people. Oh, yeah.
Another thing I wanted to touch on, and because we really hadn't gone gone into this much or talked about it much, was just Hunter Biden.
Mm,
He went through a lot last year. We really didn't go into that at all, but just if he wasn't Joe Biden's son, we wouldn't have heard about any of this.
that's
Okay.
true. That's true.
So, if my dad was running for president, I'll be watching my step. Okay.
Yes.
And Joe Biden has been in politics for over 40 years, meaning that Hunter was born into a pretty well to do family because he
Right.
spent all that time in Congress consistently, without missing a beat.
Mm-hmm.
So came up in, a good financially stable home. He's a pretty good looking guy or a handsome dude,
Mm-hmm.
and he's famous. So
Mm-hmm.
just a couple of just made bad decisions. Just a
And
couple of bad
continuously.
decisions. I mean, one is you marry the widow of your dead brother
Yes.
because of all the women that you're meeting and traveling around, and
And see,
you had to go with that.
right. Oh,
I
and
don't
it
know what
gets
y'all are telling the kids, but
Well, it gets better. Not only did he do that, he cheated on her with another woman. So yes, I don't know if it
with
was
his
dated
brother's
or
wife.
yes, he cheated on his brother's wife, widow, with
Right.
another woman.
I'm following you.
And had a kid with the other woman.
Oh, Jesus
And
on the
then the other
cross.
woman had to prove that he was the father, which she did. Yeah, it gets better. Oh, yeah, he's just such a lovely character.
This dude's life is a walking soap opera.
A bad walking,
When you
bad soap
take
opera.
Guiding Light and General Hospital and As the World Turns and mix it together, I didn't even know about that part of it. I knew
Yes.
about him smoking crack. I mean,
Yes.
one of the two most addictive drugs in America. Who would have thought that that could have ended badly?
Right. Right. Who knew?
Dude, you don't need to do that. I mean, I already named some reasons he had things in his favor and on his side. So, like sometime last summer, he went to rehab.
Yes.
Went through that, and I appreciate that he got cleaned
Trying
up
to
and he
get
came
clean.
out of it. I just have a question: who pays for rehab? Is that the state or the taxpayers, or do you pay
Um,
for it yourself with your medical insurance? I mean,
that's a good question. I s- maybe a mixture of the three, I would think. I would think, but I don't know. I don't know, but I would think a
because
mixture of the three.
depending on how severe it is, I'm thinking if like someone gets in a terrible, horrendous accident and they get
Mhm.
paralyzed and have to, go through rehab,
Mhm.
where it's like you're staying in this facility maybe 24 hours a day.
Right.
All of that costs money.
Yes,
You
it's
know
got
what
to
I
come
mean?
from somewhere. Yeah.
So, that happened. And then after that, he takes a computer with a hard drive that has some information on him working with the Ukrainian government and throwing his dad's name out there to try to help him get business deals a few months
Yes.
before the election.
Yes.
All right. And then the hard drive was okay. I think the integrity of that was cool, but the
Okay.
computer was having some technical issues.
Okay.
So he was trying to save what was on there. Like, you got to boot up your computer to get to
Mhm.
what's on the hard drive.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
So when the guy at the computer repair store fired it up, I don't know if he had already
Mhm.
done the repair and was just testing to see if it worked, or is just from the very beginning to try to find out if it gives you an error code or whatever.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't endorse what he did, but he knew that something was on
Was on there.
this hard drive that he wanted to keep secret.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
you take it to a business and leave it there.
Regular repair shop. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. He definitely has some judgment issues. To put it nicely, he's just, yeah, bad decision. Another bad decision. Who
Yeah,
knew?
and then, I guess his father, Joe, he felt at some point, that he had to defend him because he said, "No, my son hasn't been having any dealings with the Ukrainian government." So now
Right.
your daddy got to lie for you when he should
Yes.
be focusing on a presidential campaign.
Yes. But not notice that none of this came out until I think it was right after election day, after everyone had voted
Oh,
and that sort. None of this came out until then. Yes. Because
hmm,
people were like, this is going on. This goes like, no, I don't know anything about it. But the day after the election, maybe a day or two after the election, it was
yeah,
yeah, it was big news after the vote.
yeah. I can say that I never saw any real coverage of that story from a media organization.
No,
I mean,
not
a few did, and I heard about it on conservative radio,
yes.
but yeah, man, let me tell you, I just throw some flash grenades, cause a couple of distractions because the
Right.
clock is ticking. Last
Right.
year, because
Yeah.
I was curious about that. I knew I wanted to wait until the year was over so
Yeah.
that everything could be complete and totaled.
Mhm.
So this is a few things that I found out looking at last year. All right, is that the number of whites and blacks killed by the police, just the whole total number. Number
Mhm.
of whites killed 432.
Okay.
Number of blacks killed 226.
Wow. Yeah,
Now,
okay.
blacks still make up half of the prison population,
Mhm.
but police are shooting more white people. This is
Yes.
what I'm getting from this. Now, let
Mhm.
me add in another statistic or another factor is that in 2020, there were 19 unarmed blacks that were killed.
Okay.
All right. And there were nine the year before.
Okay.
The kind of person that I am and the way that my mind thinks, I would have to break this down and
Mhm.
look at cases individually to see what would happen. There's
Right.
more rioting that happened last year than any other year
Mhm.
on record.
Mhm.
More rioting. And with rioting, I mean, police are there, there's violence. Um, I don't think that most people have guns, but they are committing crime, and it's it's nighttime chaos and pandemonium.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those deaths were from rioting.
Yeah.
And it was also right in the later part of the year. I read that there was a man, some city in California, who was an unarmed man who was killed by a cop the same way that Floyd was, with a
Oh,
knee
wow.
on the neck.
Oh, wow. How do you put it? According to the activities and the marches and everything of last year, you would have thought it was a whole lot more. You'd have thought blacks outnumbered whites for getting, getting shot, that sort of thing. And again, folks not reacting on facts, just emotion
Right.
and getting stirred up. So yeah, when you get the facts out there, and folks don't like to wait for the facts because it takes a moment for facts to come out, to
Right.
digest it, and like you said, to really dig into the details and understand it, and understand the different cases because each case is different, you
Yeah.
know. So I
Right.
just
Your emotions don't want to wait. Your
mhm,
emotions want to react immediately and not put a lid on it. So for them to do that, for your emotions to do that, you can't think.
right,
Thinking makes emotions take a back seat.
yes,
You
yes,
know,
they do,
we want justice and we want it right now.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't and folks get upset when you tell them no, that's not how this works. The
Right.
court of public opinion is not a court. It's just that, an opinion. Wait till things come out, and this is for our listeners, for anyone going forward. um don't get caught up in the emotion of the day, the swirl of the news or anything like that. It is the thinking person, it is the person who is different, who will sit back and say, you know what, I'm not going to react yet. Let me wait until all the facts come in. Let me wait until I know what's going on, and then I'll react, and then I'll have an
Yeah.
opinion or that sort of thing. But, just getting caught up in the moment, you're no different than anybody else. It's wreaking chaos.
Let me mention this also as the last thing to say about this.
Hmm.
And looking up this information, one of the sources that listed, the unarmed blacks from last year, it
Hmm.
said that there was a monument or somewhere where it had the names, and they had some of this on the website too. They had the names of the people, and maybe some details about them, like the city it was in, or revolving around the incident.
Hmm.
And right before that, there was like a poem or a statement where someone was saying, "I'm tired of all of our people being shot by police." And they said, this is something to the effect, they're killing our uncles, our grandmothers, grandfathers, brothers, cousins, all this. No, your cousin is your cousin. Your uncle is your uncle. So stop attaching some kind of a personal relative element to this,
Hmm.
because it's probably fair to say most of these people, most of them, you probably wouldn't want to be your friends
Right.
or to
Right.
be in your family or for them to come to the family reunion or the Thanksgiving because there would be drama.
Right.
There's a consistent pattern with
Mhm.
people. It's very rare. Like, I don't know anything about this guy, but there was a man who was shot by the police in a similar fashion. What happened with a guy in Atlanta at the Wendy's in the drive-through that fell asleep. He had been drinking, and
Yes.
alcohol can make you sleepy.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this guy, he was blocking the way of the drive-through or something. And again, somebody at the restaurant called the police. When they
Hmm.
came out, it said it was like 8 cops. They came out, and he was there asleep when they approached him. He had a
Yes.
gun on the seat. Now this is counted, unless you have a gun in hand, is considered unarmed. So he
Okay.
had a gun on the seat,
Okay.
and he's just waking up when the police try to get his attention. And one of the officers said that they thought that he was going for the gun,
Hmm.
but he was actually scratching his chest or making a movement in there,
Hmm.
whatever. So it's always unfortunate when that happens. But we are not defined by the exception to the rule.
Right.
And still, okay, so this is 19 unarmed blacks killed by the police. That means, similar to the year before that, that
Hmm.
there's at least 30 states in the entire country where there were no black
Like,
people, no unarmed black people killed by the police.
absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Coronavirus and COVID-19 is running over people more than the police are.
Yes.
And in
Yes.
more prevalent and more of a threat and more rampant. I mean, COVID-19 is in every state, all 50 of them, even
Everywhere.
Hawaii.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So I,
Right.
I wouldn't call this a epidemic.
Hmm.
Okay. And so you'll hear our email address, in this whole presentation. And if somebody wants to let me know why there's more whites that were killed by blacks, but there's an even number of blacks and whites in the prison system.
Hmm.
Because if it were actually fair, those numbers would be even, and there would
Yeah.
be less whites killed.
Right. Exactly. And understand too, blacks were only, I want to say 13% of the population, if that much,
Right.
maybe 12 or 13%.
13.
So
That's correct.
there's some proportionality going on here
Oh yeah.
for us to be 12, 13% of the population and half of the folks in jail.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, there are some discussions need to happen to resolve that.
Right. Right.
Hmm. Yeah. And thank you for listening to this episode of Really Honest Talk Radio. With that, I will leave you with a founding father's quote, and this is from Thomas Jefferson. And it says, educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. And that was by Thomas Jefferson. So, again, we're here to educate and inform and to be brutally honest about it. So, that's where we stand. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to this podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell so you'll be notified when we upload a new episode. We are also on Spotify and on Rumble as well. So, with that, we hope you have a good week until we talk to you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Spread the word, and we'll see you later. We'll catch you on the next episode.